Okay, hi. Welcome to today's webinar. This is for people interested in any of the maths courses, the undergraduate maths courses or the foundation course offered by Brunel. Okay, so my name's Dr. Rhiannon Hall. I'm one of the admissions tutors for the maths department, and I've got Ms. Vicky Aldworth with me. She's one of our level 1 students, and she's going to talk to you a little bit later after me about her experience with coming to university and sort of the changes of the way you operate when you go from school to university. Okay, and then you guys can put in some questions afterwards if you have any questions. Okay, so just a little bit first on what we offer on our maths programs. We've got 6 different maths undergraduate courses. We've got a foundation year for people who can't just begin directly at level 1 on the maths courses. We also offer some postgraduate courses, Masters and PhD, but I won't be speaking about those today. So first of all, I'll mention the foundation year. It's a pre-degree year, so that's 1 year before you start the degree as it would normally be started. And that's for anyone who either just doesn't make the grades in A-level that they need to get in, then they can have the opportunity to make up for what they've missed out on, and when they pass the foundation year they can progress on to any one of our maths undergraduate courses. There's also a foundation program available for any of the computing or computer science courses, and that's also run by the maths department, but some of the modules obviously are taught by computer science. And some of the modules are shared in common with the maths students and the computing students. Note that for the foundation year, the fees are £6,000 for that year, followed by the usual £9,000 a year for the Bachelor of Science programs. Okay, so onto the maths undergraduate programs. The programs we run are straight mathematics, financial mathematics, mathematics with computer science, and maths and statistics with management. So when I said earlier we offer 6 undergraduate courses, it looks to me like there's 4 there, but if you look at the maths and the financial maths, there are actually 2 options for that. You could either take them as a Bachelor of Science program, which takes you to a normal degree level, or you can take them as the MMath program, which means an additional postgraduate year at the end, which takes you all the way up to master's level, so that if you did the MMath, you'd leave here with a degree, a master's degree. So for the MMath programs, you can either when you start at Brunel, you can either start already on the MMath programs, or you could start registered on the Bachelor of Science programs, and then at the end of level 2 you could transfer to the MMath program. So, so the first 2 years of the Bachelor of Science and MMath programs are the same. So any student could transfer back and forth between those 2, and it's only at the end of level 2 that you have to make a decision, but your grades would need to be high enough to be allowed to stay on the MMath program beyond level 2. So the mathematics course and the financial maths course, those are all taught completely by the mathematics department. Whereas the mathematics with computer science course, there are a couple of modules in there each year that are taught by the computer science department. So you've got proper computer science taught by computer scientists. Likewise, the maths and stats with management course, the management sort of businessy type modules are taught by the business school. Okay, so some of the main things about transitioning between high school and university are sort of the way that you approach your work and the way you approach problem solving. So university, you need to work a lot more independently than you do in high school, because most of the time in high school you'd be sitting in a classroom with, say, 15 students perhaps, and you're struggling with a question. You can just put up your hand and a teacher comes over and helps you out. But one of the things about university is that some of the time when you're working on problems, you're not in the classroom, so you can't do that. So you need to be able to think through ways of solving problems without always automatically putting up your hand and asking for help. You need to be thinking about, well, hang on, can I actually figure this out myself? So thinking and working independently. And one of the reasons you need to work a bit more independently is because out in the real world, in the job market, employers really want people who can think and operate independently, people who know when to ask for help and know when to have a go at trying out a few things themselves. So the obvious question now is, well, how do I work independently if I don't know how to do something? Well, we as mathematicians, we sort of like to piece together a toolbox of ideas and techniques. You know, so things like trigonometry, if you were working on something quite geometrical with angles, circles, triangles, anything like that, you'd want to be able to have a toolbox full of trigonometry ideas that you can just grab out of the box and throw at the problem. Likewise, ideas from calculus, differentiation, integration. So we like to put together a great big toolbox of things that we know, formulas, things that we can operate with quite quickly and automatically. I mean, you might have to look up a formula that you can't remember, but you know that the formula exists. So it's like knowing that there's a tool, but you have to just go and find that tool and then you can use it. So a large part of being able to work independently is being familiar with all the tools available to you. And one of the ways we familiarise ourselves with the tools available to us is understanding why things are the way they are. So with mathematics, you know, if you want to differentiate a function, for example, say you had the function x squared and you said, right, I want to differentiate x squared. Well, I know how to do that. I know that if I differentiate x squared, I get 2x. But why is that the case? There's got to be a reason why I get 2x, why I don't get something else. So sometimes in high school you get a lot of formulas, a lot of things given to you, and this is the rule you use and you apply the rule, but you don't necessarily know why that's the case. In university, we're really keen to always embed the notion of why into things. Wherever possible, we want you to understand why something's the case, because the best way of remembering something and coming up with new ideas yourself is to have seen the ideas of why. And obviously you want to experiment with ideas, and down the bottom of this PowerPoint slide is the word communication. Well, communicate your results. So not only do you need to be able to solve maths problems, but you need to be able to communicate. And that can be simply in the form of discussing things with other students, and it can also be in the form of writing things down or even giving a presentation. But most of the communication you do is being able to write something coherently so that another person can pick it up and understand what you've written without having to ask you what you've written. Okay, so in level 1, the modules are designed to carefully build on your previous knowledge. So we know what you've covered in A level. We know that some of you have covered some things, other people have covered other things. So we try to move slowly with this mathematics. and make sure that we don't have all these gaps in your knowledge simply because you covered something at your school and other people have covered something else at their school. So we try to start slowly and build up a whole load of knowledge that various people will have obtained from various schools. And one thing we do is, in order to be able to achieve this and in order to be able to make students feel happy and comfortable in the first few weeks at university, is we teach them in small groups. So the core maths modules, that's most of the maths modules are taught in small groups of about 15 students, and that way you've got the same teacher, you've got the same students around you, you can make friends, you can learn to work with other people in your class, and you can ask a lot of questions, and you can gradually transition from the way that you're used to working whilst you're at high school into the way that you need to be working at university, which is a bit more independently. It means you'll have probably a bit less time in the classes and a bit more time away from the classes working independently or working with your friends. Another thing we do with level 1 is we get the students to do these small group projects throughout the year. So we put our students into groups of about 4, 5 or 6, and we work through projects with them. We sort of teach a little material, so it's a very small group working with their personal tutor. So I've got a group this year and I work with them, and we gradually teach them material and set them group homework exercises. They can go away, work on them, figure things out together, discuss things together, learn to work as a group, and then come back and explain what they've done. And then at the end of the project there's a little bit of assessment where they can write up what they've done, and they can write up an individual report as well as doing something with the group. And one of the great things about the group projects is before we used to do the projects, students were saying, oh, we love maths, but we'd like to see more examples, more real-world examples of where maths can be applied. So the group projects were designed as sort of illustrations of real-world mathematics. They're also designed for the group work aspect because employers love it when people can work in a team. Because almost every job you do, you're going to be working with other people. So they like it when people are good at working in a team. So the level 1 projects, some examples of topics we've covered. We've covered fractals a couple of years ago. We've looked at modelling interest rates. We've looked at the Google PageRank algorithm. We've done some statistics. Right, there's a bullet point here for employability. As I said before, group work and managing a project are just things that employers love. Also, you're having regular meetings with your personal tutor, which means you're getting to know the staff member quite closely. And that way, if you are having any problems, you can feel like you can come to them and say, look, I'm having difficulties, what can I do? And also they might spot if something's going wrong. Occasionally we have like a student who maybe has dyslexia, but they haven't realised yet that they've got dyslexia, and sometimes a tutor who's got experience seeing students with dyslexia can actually spot what it is and make suggestions to them. So various things can happen if you have a good relationship with your tutor. Okay, just briefly, moving on to level 2, we take all the sort of the maths that we've built up in level 1 and we just take it further and further. So there's all kinds of exciting things that you probably won't have even touched on in high school. So probability and statistics and algebra are things you will have seen before, but there'll be various aspects to it that you won't necessarily have seen before. There'll be new things that really aren't taught in school: multivariable calculus, predictive linear models for statistics, operational research, that's for decision making, and various abstract mathematics. Also for people on the courses, the joint courses, if you're on, say, financial maths, there's more about investment mathematics and modelling of risk. For people on the maths and statistics with management, there are modules offered by the business school. You can look at marketing, you could choose some management, you could choose to look at accounting. For the people on the maths with computer science courses, you're on, you could choose, you've got modules on software development and algorithms and their applications. So there's quite a wide range of things you're doing. One thing we do to help you when you leave university and go out in the real world is you want to know how to apply for jobs. You want to know what's important to employers, what they want in their employees, so that you can develop those skills. And we sort of developed that. We have training days throughout level 1, 2 and 3. So in level 1 we have a training day. We do CV writing, job application forms and cover letters. And these are organised and run by the people in the Placement and Careers Centre, so they know what they're doing. There's an assessment day in level 2 where you learn about interviews, you do some mock interviews, you do some role play, you learn about psychometric tests and you have a go at doing psychometric tests, some networking skills and stuff. There's another careers day where various people, various alumni and various employers come in for the day. They give advice, they talk about the kinds of places they work, so you can get advice if you want to take a certain direction with your career, or if you're just curious about various careers, various different lines of work. There will be a webinar on the 18th of May specifically talking about employability and work placements, so I recommend that you listen to that. Just briefly, level 3, there are some more really interesting areas of maths, so coding and encryption, there's a module on that. Complex analysis, which is to do with calculus and things with complex numbers. There's something option pricing, which is about the financial markets. Operational research, so optimizing resources, optimizing your processes so that the decisions you make about how to allocate resources are sensible ones. Stochastic models is to do with randomness, so very much modelling what goes on in the real world. And on some of the joint courses, there are things like software engineering, artificial intelligence, management and marketing. There's also a final year project, so everyone that comes to Brunel University does a final year project. It's 1/3 of the final year, so the final degree mark, it counts towards about 22% of that. So the final degree mark is calculated from level 1 and level 2 combined, and also if you've done a work placement, then that goes towards the final degree mark. So with the final year project, there's a really wide choice of topics. Some of them are based on current research, because all of the lecturers are research active, which means that they have an area of maths where they do current research in, so they can offer topics in their area. You get supervision sessions, so those are individual, so one-to-one, and they happen weekly. At the end of it, you'll produce up to a 70-page dissertation, and you can give a presentation on that. And students, when they've finished their final year projects, are always really, really proud of what they've done. They're really amazed at what they've achieved. They just can't believe that they've achieved it, and yet they all seem to manage to get there. So it's really quite impressive, and it's a really great skill to develop, and it's really impressive to employers. If you're on the M-Math program, so remember that's the program where you progress to master's level, you also do your final year project in level 3. When you move on to the final year of the M-Math, so that's the year that takes you up to master's level, there will also be a project there. So yeah, so that's another project. So just briefly, our entry requirements for our Bachelor of Science courses, we want ABB. For maths, we want a grade A. You could get that in further maths if you want, but we don't expect you to have studied further maths. Only some of our students have done further maths. If you are trying to get onto the M-Math courses, we ask for AAA. If you want to get onto the foundation year, we ask CDD. And CDD could be in any courses. So the foundation year could be for people who've done their A-levels in other subjects, you know, say English, history and things like that, and they've decided that they want to switch directions and move on to maths. Okay, so now we'll have some words from Vicky. She's our current level 1 student, and she'll tell you about her experience transitioning between high school and university.
Hi, I'm Vicky. I'm studying financial maths. So first of all, how did I feel before I started university? Felt nervous. Obviously, it's a new environment. You don't really know what to expect. For me, I moved away like 2 hours away from home, so new location as well, new people. Was it going to be a big jump from A-levels? Like, it's completely different. You hear like stuff when you go to all these talks that it's going to be easy, but you still have that worry in your head. The workload, was it going to be too much? Was I going to get it all done? And meet new people. I stayed on campus, so I was quite nervous about who I was going to be living with, and also meeting new people on my course as well. And living independently is my first time properly away from home, so had to learn to look after myself and not rely on mum and dad all the time. So what did Brunel do to help? So I went to all the applicant days and open days that Brunel offered, because I knew that I really wanted to come here. And it was really good because going to that I got to know a couple of the lecturers already by speaking to them and then keeping in touch throughout the summer and stuff. So it's quite nice knowing some people before I came here. Also, you have induction week when you get here, and in that you got to meet like your tutor group and meet people on your course. There was like fun like maths quizzes and like loads of little maths like talks and things like that to go to, which are really good. And then there was like treasure hunts, and then just the whole freshers week, everything. So yeah, it was a really good week to like settle into. You have the small group seminars in the first 3 weeks, so I had my tutor for that, so it's quite nice getting to know who was in my group and getting to know my tutor as well. And it also made it like less daunting going into like the big lecture halls and stuff, because you're in like small rooms. It was a slow transition to lectures, so we had mostly seminars for like the first 3 weeks, all seminars. Then we started to get a few less seminars and more lectures, and now we have like 3 seminars and the rest lectures. So it's nice to gradually build up to it. Again, the small group projects with a tutor. It was nice to get to know my tutor, and I've also made really good friends with people that are in my group, and we do a lot of work together outside of the small group projects as well now, and we all support each other because we've all got different strengths, so it's really good to work together. We also have power meetings, which is peer-assisted learning. You have those with a 2nd or 3rd year student in term 1, and it's nice that you've got someone that you can go to that's been through it already, and they can support you with your work. So if you've got any questions, you can email them or talk to them in your sessions. And again, it's just nice knowing someone else. Ask, that's the Academic Skills Service. They run like small evening sessions for different topics, so if you're struggling in a particular area, they can help you out. Extra help sessions as well. They run, I think after like the first 3 weeks, and they just go over different topics every week, so if you're struggling, then you can go along to that, and it really helps out. And then you've got the student union and the residents team. They're always running stuff, so there's always something going on, and again, there's someone to talk to if you've got a problem in general or like with your halls or whatever, so nice to have those. And how do I feel now? So happy that I've come to Brunel. Definitely the best uni that I could have come to out of the ones I chose. Definitely more relaxed, and it was far less daunting than I expected. You've got to remember, like, everyone's in the same boat as you, so it's not that bad. You do build on things from A-levels as well as learning new things. Like Rhiannon said, everyone's come from different areas, so like I did a lot of different maths topics to like people that I've made friends with on my course, but none of us are struggling because we help each other, and also it's like you learn stuff right from the beginning, so you do go over some stuff that you've already learned, but it's nice to build on it, and then you've got the new things as well, which aren't actually that bad. They're not too hard. The workload is heavy at times, but it's manageable. You've just got to keep managing your time. Just make sure you get everything done. Definitely do your homework. Don't leave it till the last minute, and don't leave projects and things like that to the last minute either, because otherwise you end up panicking and there's no point. It's just better to get everything done as soon as you get it set and just get it out of the way. Meeting new people, everyone's in the same boat. So everyone in my flat was pretty nervous about meeting each other. We actually managed to find each other on things like Facebook and Twitter, so we made like loads of group chats before we came here. So we kind of knew each other like without meeting each other, which was quite nice. And we're quite close. We go out and do stuff as a flat, which is quite nice. Also, you can join societies and things like that, and that also helps you meet new people. And then you've got people on your course as well. So where I'm doing financial maths, I've got friends from the financial maths, and then also friends that are doing straight maths as well, because we have lectures with them. So you meet loads of people. I'm still meeting new people now. Living independently, it's actually nice to have my own space and not rely on my parents. It's not as bad as I thought it would be, and I can actually cook things now, which is nice.
Thanks, Vicky. That was great. So now, as the listeners, it's over to you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them.
We've just had a question in for one of the listeners out there, and they've asked whether anyone's had any trouble with the transition process from school to university and how they've coped with the workload. I'll pass it over to Vicky to answer.
Well, I do have some friends that have struggled, but only because they've left things to the last minute. I mean, you get lots of homework. Well, for each lecture you have, you get a bit of homework. So you get it for linear algebra, calculus, and fundamentals and things like that. So it's best to get that over and done with just as soon as you get it, and also it helps for revision. One of my friends likes to leave projects and things to the last minute and then ends up getting quite stressed, but now he's learnt to just get it over and done with because it's much easier to just get it out of the way. Yeah.
Thanks, Vicky. Are there any more questions that we could answer? We've still got Rhiannon and Vicky here, so if you've got any more questions, just let us know. Just type it into the box, and we'll answer as best we can. We've had another question, and this one's about freshers. We've got a student asking, what was Freshers Week like, and how did you find your way around?
Well, finding my way around, you get given a map as soon as you come here, so it's quite easy to work out, and also the lectures are quite lenient on the first few weeks if you're a bit late because you don't really know where you're going, but it's pretty simple. The campus is laid out really nicely, which is good. Freshers Week was really good. There's loads of events on. I'd recommend joining the events on Facebook and stuff because you find out about the tickets really early before they sell out. There's a local nightclub in town which people choose to go to, or we've also got Locos and the Academy on campus, So Locals is the bar and Academy is the nightclub, and they also ran quite a few events. There was also like loads of random stuff going on, like there was always music playing. I remember there was like a big tent with like Laser Quest in it, which we all did from the flat, which was really fun. And you just meet new people like the whole week, which is really good. You've always got someone that you can bump into around campus and talk to.
Got another question here, and it's one for Rhiannon. We've got a student asking how many teaching sort of lectures and seminars are there a week?
Right, so timetabled sessions, there's about 20 hours a week of timetabled sessions, and as Vicky and I have said, early in the year there's a lot of small group sessions, a lot of sessions with say 15 students in a class. Throughout the year that gradually changes so that there are more and more of the large lectures and fewer of the small sessions, but we continue having small sessions throughout the year. So, and those are so that you do have a classroom that you can sit in with your homework exercise sheets, and when you're struggling with questions you can put up your hand and there'll be someone coming around helping you out. So those sessions are really important. So there's a number of different types of sessions each week. There are the lectures, there are, when we call something a seminar, we really are just talking about these sessions where most of what we're doing is exercises and we go around helping answer the exercises. There are a few classes where they're computer labs where you're learning how to use mathematical software. So there's software that you can use with sort of calculus type problems and matrix type problems. And then there's software, Microsoft Excel for statistics. When you progress onto level 2 you'll be using a more sophisticated statistics package called SPSS. So overall it's about 20 hours of timetabled sessions per week, and there are additional sessions that you can drop in on if you want. So Vicky mentioned extra help sessions and things, so we have them timetabled so that people can drop in if they want, and we have extra computer lab sessions throughout the year where students can drop in and get a bit of help with the software, because it can always be quite difficult if you don't know how to, you know, which command to type into the computer to get it to do something. Say you wanted to multiply two matrices together, you would sort of perhaps be a little bit stuck. So you can come along to these sessions, you can learn how to do that, and you can learn where to look up this kind of information, where to find it on Google and stuff, so that you can become a bit more independent figuring these things out. Okay.
So that's so we've got no more questions. So we just want to say thank you for listening today, and if you do have any questions, you can always get in touch with us. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. If you do have any questions about the admissions process, you can email admissions@brunel.ac.uk. If these are admissions questions specific to maths, then you can email maths.admissions@brunel.ac.uk. If it's general queries about UCAS and things like that, it's probably better to email just admissions@brunel.ac.uk.
Well, thank you for listening today, and we hope to speak to you all soon. Goodbye.